Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the podcast, the Drafted Up podcast. Today, we're giving you a 10-team mock draft, 3 wide receivers to kind of bolster up the roster a little bit. That's Nick. I'm Theo. Like I said, this is the Drafted Up podcast. You know where to find us at DraftedUp_pod over on Twitter, but more importantly, the show. Anywhere you listen or watch your podcast, we're there. Apple, Spotify, YouTube. Like, rate, subscribe, review, follow, search Drafted Up Podcast. You shall find us. Nicholas, how are you doing this fine Tuesday afternoon?
Doing good, dude. Doing good. You know, grinding some mocks at work, getting ready for today because we got a lovely mock on our hand. I'm ready for the 10-team 3 receiver. We talked about it a little bit last week on how draft strategy would kind of change up. Receivers become a little bit more valuable. So we'll see how the draft board falls.
Yeah, it has been so long since I've done a 10-team mock. I have adjusted to just running 12-team league. So
yeah,
it'll be interesting to see how this turns out. Everybody's team's a little bit better. 10-team leagues are better for your more casual fantasy folks because, the talent pool's a little more even. You don't have to really dive deep and try to find those nasty players to plug into your lineups. A little bit of news before we dive into that. Noah Fant, Seattle Seahawks tight end, was released. Full money thing. Seahawks wanted to save some money.
Yeah, it saved them a bunch of cap room. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, I know you were expecting Fant to be a little more involved than I was in Seattle. I expected to be Arroyo. So does this boost Arroyo up in your rankings a lot, or are you just kind of staying put and thinking AJ Barner just kind of takes over the starting role, who they drafted 2 years ago from Michigan?
2 years ago. I would say Arroyo would be higher than Barner on my list, but I think Barner's going to be the starting tight end. Probably the first couple weeks, 4 or 5. But I think Arroyo ends up taking more target snaps than AJ Barner does. Yeah. But who I like too, though. I like Barner coming out of college. I love the Arroyo coming out, though. Yeah. He's my tight end 3 in this class. So
AJ Barner, more complete tight end. He's better at the blocking, all the dirty work. I actually expect him also to be the starter and just play the Noah Fant role. Like what Noah Fant was doing, he can block. He can do a little bit of everything. So I expect Barner to be the blocker. It wouldn't surprise me if Barner plays more snaps than Arroyo does throughout the year, but I think for production-wise, Elijah Arroyo for fantasy is way more valuable than AJ Barner will be. He'll get a couple spot boost from me, but I already had Arroyo projected to play a good amount and be really productive, even with Noah Fant there. So essentially, AJ Barner slots into my Noah Fant stat out for Seattle, and Arroyo pretty well stays base.
Yeah, that makes sense. I won't have Barner nearly as high as I had Font. I didn't have Font crazy high. I had him like mid-20s, but I would expect to have Arroyo now mid-20s and Barner high 30s.
Yeah. Okay. Training camp has started.
Officially started, dude. We're here, baby.
95% of the league. I think there's only 2 teams as of the recording date who haven't reported. So I'm sure by the time you listen to this, training camp has started, and that's a fun time of the year. You get to get the fluff pieces. This guy's doing great. This guy's not doing good. This guy's cut weight, all that fun stuff. And all of it, you spin it to the narrative you want to hear and be like, dude, this guy's ripping up camp. Or if it's a guy that you like and it's like, oh, he's not too good. It's like, it's training camp. I'm not worried about it. We'll wait till the real games start. But, yeah.
None of it matters if I don't care about the guy, but if I do care about the guy, I'll swing it anyway to make it sound like, oh no, he's doing really good right now in camp.
Okay. Trey Hendrickson didn't report to Bengals camp, so
shocking. I don't think Terry McLaren also did not report.
Yeah, Terry McLaren did not report. Did you see the Commanders posted either a Twitter thing or an Instagram thing of players of their team that got married this offseason, and they didn't include Terry McLaren, who got married.
Oh, my God. That boy, oh, God. They're doing him outlandishly dirty. Like, what the hell? He has shown nothing but love for that team when you didn't have a quarterback, and now you finally get the man a quarterback. He balls out last year, 13-some touchdowns. And Just give him a 3-year deal. It doesn't have to be 5 years. He's not asking for that. Give him the 3-year extension.
We don't know what he's asking for.
Blow up his contract for those 2-3 years. He'll sign it.
I'm very pro McLaren. But if McLaren's out there, I want 5 years. I see where Washington's coming from because he is 30. So I don't want to shell out money and years for an aging out wide receiver. But if it's just a money thing, just pay him. You have a rookie quarterback. You have the extra cap space. Give him the money. But if it is years holding him back, I do understand that. But do you think there's a chance Terry McLaurin gets traded?
No. They'll get the deal. They'll get a deal done at some point, even if he misses week 1.
Okay. If I'm San Francisco, I'm inquiring to see what the asking price is.
I mean, if I'm 80% of the NFL, I would reach out for sure. It doesn't hurt to reach out. Yeah,
but the Niners, Ricky Pearsall, he's starting camp on PUP. He's got a hamstring issue, so who knows how much that's going to affect his season. We obviously know Juwan Jennings wants a new deal. Maybe they work out something where the 49ers get McLaren, the Commanders get Juwan Jennings, and they work out contracts for both of them. I don't know the cap situation for the Niners. I feel they never have cap space, but like you said, if I'm most of the league and I need a high-end wide receiver 2 or just a wide receiver 1 to be in the room and just be a vocal leader, I'm calling Washington to see what the asking price is for Terry McLaurin.
Yeah, for sure. He's been nothing but consistent in Washington for 6 years, I believe, at this point.
Yeah,
he's going into year 7. So this is his last contract, essentially, anyway. So I get him holding out to just get what you can get because, honestly, it's probably not going to get much better than last year for him. He had a career high in touchdowns. He's almost 30. He's 29 going into 30. This is it. Get what you can get because this is your last big contract in the NFL.
Yeah, absolutely. Would love to see him in Buffalo. But
I would love to see any reliable wide receiver in Buffalo.
Yeah.
God forbid, Josh Allen.
Little bit of
anything last year.
Little bit of a teaser there. Our next episode, we will dive in. We will start our divisional breakdowns, and we are going to start with the AFC East. So that will be our second episode this week. All right. Anything else?
No, I think that's about it. Jamal Adams signed with Las Vegas. Not that it's anything, but he used to be a superstar.
Can't believe that guy still plays football. Right.
Reconnecting with Pete Carroll, though, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah. Our mock draft today. 10 teams, full PPR, 3 wide receiver setup, and then the typical stuff, 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 flex, 1 tight end, and I think it's 4 or 5 bench spots. I don't know off the top of my head. But
yeah, we'll get there.
But I got it. I got the yuzu fruit from our affiliate Dubby, and I got it here. So when we do our ad reads, I'll give it a little go ski. I haven't touched it yet. I made it before we started recording, so a little bit to look forward there. Okay, here we go. Let's share this screen that works half the time.
I would say it's like 75% of the time. Don't give it not credit. It's worth a couple times.
It's only really failed once, and that's when it crashed in our last in our 2026 early mock draft for the real life, and I had to re-enter things. All right, screen is shared. We did a little random. I'm picking in the 4 spot, and Nicholas will be picking at the 9 spot towards the end there.
Yes, sir.
Gets a nice got Team 10 who could potentially snipe you of players, and I got I'm just kind of in a nice sitting spot here in a 10-team league. But I think I'd much rather be in your spot, the end of the draft a little bit more. But let's start this up, shall we? All right. Team 1 went with Saquon Barkley, Jamar Chase to Team 2, and Bijan Robinson going to Team 3. Barkley, the computer, interesting choice at the 1-1 in a 3 receiver setup, turning down Jamar Chase at the 1 spot. Wild move. I understand it more in a 12-team league where you're starting only 2 wide receivers. I think there's a better case for Barkley to go 1 there. It wouldn't be my move here, so an interesting choice to say the least.
Most certainly would not be my go. I would easily go one of the top 3 receivers. I'd obviously go Chase, but if you wanted to go one of the other ones and you could have some type of argument over it, go for it. But running back one in a 10-team, 3-receiver deep league is quite the questionable choice, especially one that's not going to get many catches. So he's not really a PPR option either.
Yeah. We just did our receiver ranking. That was our last episode, and Justin Jefferson is my wide receiver 2 behind Jamar Chase. So easy decision here. I do like the upside of CeeDee Lamb, but Jefferson, he proved last year he's quarterback proof. He produced with Sam Darnold. The year before that, he produced with Josh Dobbs. He's productive as all hell, and I will take just the safe floor that Justin Jefferson is going to get me in a 3-receiver league. So I'm going to lock him in here at the 4th spot.
Great pick. He's never not finished a top wide receiver 1. If he plays, he's hurt. So obviously the one season he didn't finish wide receiver 1, but I think his lowest finish is like wide receiver 6. So Jefferson makes sense.
Yeah. After I went Jefferson, Jahmyr Gibbs off the board to team 5, CeeDee Lamb, Puka Nacua, and Derrick Henry to team 8, putting you on the clock. Running back heavy here early. I'm surprised, we're split almost. We are split pretty much.
Yeah,
it's four to 3.
Mm-hmm. I'm definitely not going running back.
It is 4-4. Jahmyr Gibbs is a running back. I can tell
you that much.
Okay.
Genty's on the board, Achan's on the board, McCaffrey's on the board, Irving's on the board. So these are all quality running backs.
And one of them
I'm just not going to take
one of them's going to get back to you.
No, yeah, exactly. But I'm not going to take them.
2 of them.
Amon-Ra is my wide receiver 4. Mm-hmm. So I'm taking him. He's going to be a PPR god, especially this is full point PPR, like we talked about. His career low in receptions is 90, and that was his rookie season. He's broke 100 every single season after that, so he's almost a lock to get 100 catches, which is 100 free points.
Yeah, that makes sense. So Amon-Ra there to you with your first round selection. And then team 2 went wide receiver with Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas Jr. Sophomores. We covered them a lot during our whole rookie campaign, all that stuff, when we started the podcast. So you guys know how I feel about them. That's a great setup. I would love to start with Neighbors and BTJ.
Yeah, if you're sitting with those 2 guys in fantasy, dude, you're sitting pretty, especially in a 3-receiver league. Mm-hmm. If Neighbors or Thomas was there, I was gonna take one of them over a running back, and they were the 2 receivers I was eyeing up, so they're both gone. So now I'm going to look at the running backs that we've talked about at my last pick, being Genty, Achan, and McCaffrey. I'm not looking at Bucky Irving, to be honest. Genty's a rookie, so I think he's going to get worked to the bones. Pete Carroll is going to run him into the ground, which you love for a fantasy running back, especially a rookie. He has every single praise coming out of Boise State. He is that guy. But I'm not passing on McCaffrey. We've talked about him in our rankings. He's my running back 1. I'm getting him in the second round. I think he could outcatch any of these guys any given season. And in San Fran's offense, who we've talked about in the news, they have no wide receivers. It's George Kittle and it's Christian McCaffrey. And I think both those guys are going to be heavily involved. So PPR option-wise, McCaffrey's my pick.
All right, Christian McCaffrey with your second round pick, giving you a nice receiver running back split to start. Genty to team 8, and then Drake London, Nico Collins, and Brock Bowers. The pick before me, I'll tell you what, Brock Bowers was who I was lining up to go here. I actually normally I try punting quarterback tight end a little bit, but in a 10-team league, I want the advantage because everybody's team's so good. I want that edge at quarterback and tight end, and Brock Bowers would have given me that there with Justin Jefferson. So I could look Josh Allen here, but I think I'm going to take that risk and see if Josh or Lamar get back to me in the third. And I'm going to lean running back here. I got Devon Achane on the board. He's my RB2 in my rankings, like we went over in our running back episode. I think he's gonna see a ton of targets here. He saw 87 or close to it last year in Miami. I think he is the focal point of this offense. I think he's the best player on this offense. And sure, he may not be a workload guy where he's going to handle 200, 220 plus carries, but He's going to have this big playability where he can get 180 plus and break that off for close to 1,000 yards, and then he can see 70 catches for another 500 yards, and you're looking at 1,400 yards, 1,500 yards of total offense from him. And he had 6 touchdowns on the ground last year, 6 through the air. So you're looking at double-digit total touchdowns from Achane. I just think the upside there is for him to be the RB1.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he has that potential, and with Jonnu Smith not there, I think he is the safest pick of the Miami high-powered offense, so that's where I'm going.
I look at him as just like a very young Alvin Kamara. He doesn't need to have 1,000 yards to be the running back one, and Kamara has proven that in the past. Alvin Kamara has finished running back one with less than 1,000 yards. So if Achane's out here getting close to 100 catches, which he very well could in this offense, depending how it goes, when Tua's his quarterback, he averaged like 6 or 7 targets a game last season. So he could easily pull in close to 100 catches.
Yeah. After I went Achane, A.J. Brown, Lad McConkey, Bucky Irving round out the second round. Jonathan Taylor, team 1 just going high T, 3 running backs. Jonathan Taylor to start round 3, Josh Jacobs, and then Josh Allen, the pick before me. I did mention Lamar Jackson, so I am considering him, but I didn't think Trey McBride was going to get back to me. I figured he was going to go in those 6 picks after I took Devon Achane, and that's where I'm going. I think Trey McBride is just as good as Brock Bowers. The problem is Brock Bowers doesn't have a guy like Marvin Harrison potentially stealing carries away or touches away from him in the passing game. Trey McBride, if he scores touchdowns, he's even more valuable, but he's a type of player who can get 100 catches. And like you said, with Amon-Ra, that's 100 free points, 100 easy points in a full PPR setting. That it kind of makes up for him only getting 2-3 touchdowns. But if you get that added upside, because there is upside for him to get 5+ touchdowns. He is a good football player.
They were trying last year to get him touchdowns. I think him getting 5 or 6 this season is very capable. I think that can happen. And I think he could push Bowers as the tight end 1 if he up his touchdowns a little bit.
Yeah. So that's where I'm going, Achane, Jefferson, and I'm going to pair Trey McBride up with those 2 guys with my third pick. After that, Chase Brown, Lamar Jackson, Jackson Smith and Jigba, and Kyron Williams, the pick before you. Team 8 and Team 1. What a wild world they're living in this 3-receiver set, and they go 3 running backs.
I like both their teams, too. So we'll see how they round out the rest of their squad, but I do like all 6 of those running backs a lot this year.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm on the board, and I'm looking at receivers. The running backs are Breece Hall, James Cook, Alvin Kamara, Hampton, Walker. Guys I'm on the fence about right now, so I'd rather not. The receivers are Tyreek, T. Higgins, Garrett Wilson, Terry McLaurin, Marvin Harrison, guys like that. I have Amon-Ra, so I'm going to take the risky pick with T. Higgins. I have T. Higgins as wide receiver 12. That's a wide receiver 1 this season. I know what I'm going to get out of Amon-Ra. He's super safe, so I can go a little bit risky here. And I think Higgins, if he ends up playing, he's going to produce tremendously for this offense. I just need him to be out there for the full season. That's a little bit risky for T. Higgins, but I have Amon-Ra. He's super safe. I do not like that Team 10 just keeps taking all the wide receivers.
They're the opposite. They're just fucking vibing over here. Like, we don't need the running backs. They're going literal 0 RB right now.
God,
they went Tyreek Hill.
I wanted one of those guys.
And Garrett Wilson following your T. Higgins pick, putting you back up. I was actually surprised you went Higgins over Wilson, but I do understand your logic. Wilson is sort of a safer pick. You know what you're getting.
I think Garrett Wilson's capped because of his quarterback situation, where T. Higgins is not. T. Higgins is unlimited because of his offense and his situation around him.
Yeah,
I think Garrett Wilson's more talented than T. Higgins. I'm not going to argue that.
I don't think there's a world where Garrett Wilson could be a top 5 fantasy wide receiver. I think there is for T. Higgins.
Yeah, I agree. I think Garrett Wilson pushing wide receiver 1 it's going to be a little bit more difficult this year than T. Higgins for sure.
Yeah. All right,
but I was hoping for Garrett Wilson here because he's super safe. So if I could have got him and Amon-Ra to pair with Higgins, I would have no worries. And now my receivers are Terry McLaurin, who is questionable, Marvin Harrison, who has question marks, and then you got guys like Mike Evans and Devontae Adams, who are obviously super safe in my eyes. But I don't know. I think I'm going to. You mentioned having an advantage in a 10-team league because everyone's team's going to be really good. So I need the advantage at either quarterback or tight end. George Kittle is an advantage. I'm not going to deny that. But Jaden Daniels, Jalen Hurts, and Joe Burrow are way more of an advantage than everybody else. Now the question on which one do I want to take? Because they're all... Burrow's super safe. He's a pocket passer, but if his touchdowns aren't there, he's going to falter. Hurts obviously doesn't pass as much as the other two, and Jaden Daniels is going to a second year. Jaden Daniels finished quarterback 5, and I think there's room for regression in some spots. Jalen Hurts is super safe. I might have just straight up talked myself out of all of these guys. Oh my God. I have no idea what to do. I'm tilting. I'm going to go with Jalen Hurts.
I was going to say, I would lean Hurts because Jaden Daniels does give you production on the ground. I don't think Jaden Daniels can get double-digit rushing touchdowns like Jalen Hurts can.
No, I agree to that. He had 6 last year being Daniels, and Jalen Hurts has had double-digit rushing touchdowns 4 straight seasons. So I'm going to go with Jalen Hurts. He's always my safety quarterback. I love that guy. He's just always good for fantasy.
Yeah, so you got
every single year.
Jalen Hurts, Christian McCaffrey, Amon-Ra, and T. Higgins start. After Hurts, Terry McLaurin, Breece Hall, Rashee Rice, who will not go this early in the majority of leagues. We're looking at a suspension, but this is still early in the process, and he's going to start getting pushed down boards the more people do mocks, but right now he is locked into this spot. And then Jaden...
The suspension is guaranteed for this season, right? Or can it possibly happen next season?
No, it'll be this year because he pleaded guilty and everything, so... Okay. Joe Burrow and... is still there. Joe Burrow. I thought...
Joe Burrow is the breaking of the last quarterback.
I thought Jaden Daniels was still there, but he literally went the pick before that.
Yes.
Marvin Harrison is here too, and I do love Marvin Harrison's upside, but I have Trey McBride, so I don't really want to lock myself into the Arizona Cardinals.
With the Cardinals? Yeah, that would be...
I don't want to put my full faith in Kyler Murray actually doing his job and getting these guys the ball. So I am going to go Joe Burrow. I don't love James Cook. I like James Cook, but I'll like the running backs who get to be back on the swing a little bit more than I would have
taken Cook over Breece Hall. I see. Breece Hall was the last running back taken. I would take Cook over him.
If I went receiver here, I'd probably lean Mike Evans. Just give me 2 real safe fantasy producers in Jettis and Big Mike. But I am going to give myself the ultimate edge. This is something I never do, so I'm gonna really try to see what I like this build and take Joe Burrow, even though I have a tight end also. So I got my onesie positions out of the way with Joe Burrow, Trey McBride, back-to-back picks, pairing him with Achane and Jefferson.
But real quick, what you just said is, I usually don't do this. Well, that's the point of mock drafts. So doing stuff that you would not do usually, get you out of your comfort zone. That's what mock drafts do, so you can see how the board would fall.
Yep.
If, in this scenario, you went quarterback and tight end, you got your onesie positions out in the first 4 rounds. They're done.
Yep.
So now you don't have to worry about them for a good while.
Yeah. After I went Burrow, Mike Evans, James Cook, Alvin Kamara to round out the 4th, George Kittle, Marvin Harrison, DK Metcalf starting up the 5th. I'm glad Harrison went because I probably would have talked myself into him. Just because...
I think that's amazing value for George Kittle.
Yeah.
The 5-1.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's insane.
Devontae Adams, superstar. Love that. DJ Moore, also somebody I'm really high on this year. And I think I'm going to lean one of those two. Oh, Cortland Sutton's here. Yeah. Yeah.
That's your boy.
That's my boy.
Hype him up.
Yeah.
Hype him up.
I have him higher than both DJ Moore and Devontae Adams. And the chances he gets back to me in the 6 are probably less than 1. So I am going to take Cortland. I'm going to believe in my rankings. I have him at 14. I believe.
Hell yeah.
I believe in Bo Nix and him taking this step in to, superstardom and being one of the top quarterbacks in the league. And for that to happen, someone has to thrive around him, and it should be Cortland Sutton. He's a double-digit touchdown upside at wide receiver. He's consistently around 1,000 yards. He gives me a good floor for my second receiver spot. So I am going to go with my guy Cortland Sutton here in the 5th. A little bit early, but I'm okay with that.
Yeah, for sure. 2 years ago, he had 10 touchdowns, and then last season with Bo, he had 8. I definitely think he could hit the 10 mark again, pull out 10, 12 touchdowns in what should be a really high firing power offense this season.
Mm-hmm. All right. After Sutton, Zay Flowers goes. That's I don't know about that one. Amarian Hampton.
That's a choice.
Amarian Hampton, Devontae Adams, and Kenneth Walker, the pick before you, putting you up with your 5th round selection. Where are you looking at?
I'm looking receiver.
Okay.
I wanted to go one last round, and they stole Garrett Wilson and Tyreek right out from under me. So I'm not going to let them double up on receiver and pull out 6 wide receivers straight here for Team 10.
Dude.
But
I hope they do it.
By my rankings, I have Devontae Smith as my next receiver up. And again, I have T. Higgins, so I need a safer option.
Mm-hmm.
And like Worthy's on the board. Jamison Williams is on the board.
George Pickens, they kind of don't fit that role for you.
Yeah, they are spike week kind of guys where Devontae Smith is going to be consistent, but still also have spike weeks. And God forbid if A.J. Brown happens to go down, he's the number one in the amazing offense. And oh, by the way, the guy I picked last round is his quarterback. I got the stack here in Philly, which I always love. Mm-hmm. Him, Devontae Smith, Jalen Hurts, stack them up. That's double points every touchdown they score, baby.
Team 10 did not take a receiver. Oh, God, they took one, though. Team 10 broke their receiver streak when T.J. Hawkinson in the 5th, and then started it back up again with their 4th receiver.
That's crazy.
In their 5th receiver, DJ Moore of the Chicago Bears. Team 10, what a wild build. Neighbors, BTJ, Tyreek Hill, Garrett Wilson, and DJ Moore with TJ Hawkinson. Putting you on the clock, you got a nice little team going here. Amon-Ra, T. Higgins, Devontae Smith, nice 3 receivers, Jalen Hurts, and Christian McCaffrey, quarterback and running back.
I was really questioning it after the Higgins pick. I'm not going to lie. I'm like, okay, I got to really lock in now, pull it out. And I love my last 2 picks, and I think I'm looking good here. And I love this pick, too. I only have 1 running back, and the running back board is Chuba Hubbard, Joe Mixon, James Conner, David Montgomery, RJ Harvey. I think at this point, Joe Mixon is a steal in the draft in a 10-team league at the 6'3" or 6'2". He's my number 2 running back now with McCaffrey, who has question marks. Usually, Joe Mixon is a lock to play most of the games. Last season, he did get a little bit banged up. But again, I'm not worried about that. He's an older running back, so if he misses 2-3 games, it's nothing I'm worried about. I'm kind of expecting guys that are pushing 29, 30 years old to miss a couple games. So him and McCaffrey, I'm sure they're not going to play all 17, but the games they do play, I'll be very happy.
Yeah. After you went Joe Mixon, a nice little run of running backs went. I was hoping one of them got back to me. David Montgomery, Chuba Hubbard, James Conner. And then my backup plan would have been Jamison Williams to give me a spike wide receiver to pair with my good floor guys in Jefferson and Sutton.
Hey, man, there's still one really good spike receiver left in my eyes.
There is, and he is the highest receiver on my board in George Pickens.
George.
I do kind of like...
Can I talk you into Olave?
Not here. No. I think there's
just real risky. Start 3 receivers so you can just throw them in. Like, worst case scenario, you don't play him.
I like the upside more of Worthy and Pickens, even Tet.
Oh, no. Definitely not Worthy.
Yeah.
Give me Olave over Worthy.
See, I think Worthy has big play potential, and I'll take the shot on him not hitting that and then Olave being fine. If I had... I don't know. Olave just gives me kind of the same kind of players I have in Jefferson and Sutton if he plays all year. That's just good. I don't think he has a ton of upside with his quarterback.
No, he's not a high upside kind of guy.
Whereas Worthy, say Rashee Rice gets 6 games, I think Worthy could shine in those games. But I am going to go with George Pickens. He's the highest receiver on my board. I love his upside here in Dallas. I love to have him as my 3rd wide receiver because the running back board did not fall my way. Like, I love Trevion Henderson and Aaron Jones this year. I have Henderson at 19, Jones at 17, so they're high on my board. But I think I'm going to play the risk and that one of them makes it back to me. Whereas I
don't think you have to worry about Team 1 taking a running back, but we've seen crazier things with Team 10.
Yeah, Team 10 and Team 1 are just opposite teams.
They really are, yeah. So I think Team 1's going to end up pulling a quarterback and running back out. Quarterback and receiver.
I'm going to go with George Pickens here as my third wide receiver. Pair him up with Cortland Sutton and Jettis here to start my squad. Sam Laporta off the board next, and then Teteroa McMillan, Team 1, Xavier Worthy, and Jordan Addison, a guy who also will probably be suspended. RJ Harvey, Travis Hunter, then off the board, putting me back up here. So the running back board did fall the way I wanted it to. I did want Trevion Henderson or Aaron Jones, and both of them are there. I am going to lean Aaron Jones. I have him higher. I have him at 17 compared to Henderson, who's 19. I think he gives me a little bit better of a floor than Trevion Henderson does. Plus, Henderson does have Ramondre looming there. I know Jordan Mason's in Minnesota, but Aaron Jones was really productive for the Vikings last year. I don't think they pivot away from him just because they have Jordan Mason. I think Jordan Mason is just a safety valve who will probably steal touchdowns, but he's not going to be any factor in the passing game where Aaron Jones will eat up receptions. And with Jordan Addison likely getting suspended for the first 3 games, I can kind of try and piggyback those 3 games and maybe sell Aaron Jones, in this case, to another team and maybe upgrade somehow. So that's where I'm going to lean. I'm going to lean with Aaron Jones here to pair him with Devon Achane as my 2 running backs.
Yeah, I don't think his receiving game's not going to dip at all because of Jordan Mason. He's still going to have around the 50 catches, 400, 500 yards. And he had 2 receiving touchdowns last year. So none of that's going to change. I do think Mason takes like 30, 40 carries away from him what he had last year, though. Because he had 255 carries last year. That's a career high. It's not going to happen again. No.
Yeah. All right. After I went Aaron Jones, Chris Olave, Jalen Waddle, Isaiah Pacheco, and Patrick Mahomes, putting you on the clock here with your 7th round pick. You got Joe Mixon, Christian McCaffrey, running back, Devontae Smith, T. Higgins, Amon-Ra St. Brown at receiver, Jalen Hurts at quarterback. It's a nice squad.
I was eyeing up Olave and Waddle as a nice bench receiver option, but they both went.
Well, they'd be flex players. They'd start.
Well, bench receivers, though. They'd start, but they would still not be a starting receiver on my team. And the top receivers now are Godwin, Jerry Jeudy, Calvin Ridley, Roma Doomsday. Guys I all have question marks on, so I'm not going to really look that way. I'm looking at Trevion Henderson for sure. I'm not obviously looking at Judkins, unfortunately. But Henderson is really high on my list, and so is Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce is another guy I'm eyeing up.
Okay.
But I'm going to play the board, obviously, because Team 10 has a tight end. So they're not going to take Travis Kelce theoretically. But it's a PPR league. Last year, he had 96 catches.
And they will take a running back.
Yeah. But Kelce, I don't think his catch work really goes down. No, especially if Rice gets suspended. I still think Kelce's going to be pushing 100 catches. And that, from the tight end point, and I'm getting it in hopefully the 8th next round. I love that. And then I'm going to go with Trevion Henderson here, who is a high upside rookie running back with a bunch of catching ability in that New England offense. Ramondre is not going to take any catches from him, I don't think, this season. And in a full point PPR league, receptions for running backs are way more valuable than just plain rushes. So I would take the receiving back with Trevion Henderson.
After you went Henderson, Team 10 did take their first running back, and it is the unsigned and probably future suspended Quinshon Judkins. And then DeAndre Swift.
100% suspended.
DeAndre Swift.
Swift's a great pick at this point.
I was kind of hoping he'd make it back to me because I would have loved to pair Swift with Achane and Aaron Jones. All right, you're up at spot 8, or your 8th round pick, and your guy fell to you.
Yeah, like I said, Team 10 had a tight end, so it's just all about eyeing the board. I could have easily just click locked in Travis Kelce at that pick, but then they went 2 running backs, so they definitely would have taken Henderson most likely. So playing the board worked out tremendously. Travis Kelce here at the 8-2. Like I said, I don't think he's going to fall tremendously, and even if he does, he's still going to push near 100 catches. He's finished as a top 6 tight end every year since 2016. So even if it's falling, it's still top 7, 8 tight ends. So I'm still a lock with pretty much a tight end one at this point.
Yeah, he's got a good floor, especially with the Rashi Rice situation. All right. Before I make my 8th round selection, let's shout out our affiliates over at W Energy and Finley Hats. Finley Hats, their hats built for good times. They got the cool Stampede laces. You can secure your hat to your head. You can customize them any lace color you want to do. They have a ton of options on their site. You can customize the little wooden piece there. They have a ton of pieces as well that you can plug and chug. It's easy to swap them out. They have a lifetime warranty, so if your hat is damaged or destroyed, they will replace it or repair it absolutely free. They do drops every Friday, release new style of hats in limited runs. Some of them are really cool, so be on the lookout for those on Fridays. In the description of the video, there will be a link. You can click it and you'll get yourself a cool 15% off your first purchase. So join the Finley force and support our friends over at Finley Hats. Their hats are built for good times. And then W Energy, like I brought up earlier, new flavor, citrus, Japanese yuzu, Japan's best citrus fruit. I got some here in my cup. We're gonna give it a go. If you like lemon, that is tart. You're gonna love that. That is a citrus pops. If you like sour, that's for you. That is really good. That is a refreshing drink. It's got a little bit of like a lemonade taste to it. So that's their new flavor, Japan. Their best citrus, the yuzu fruit. They also got a ton of other flavors. So they collabed with the Anime of the Year, Solo Leveling. So check them out at Dubby. They're clean energy. No artificial dyes, no sweeteners, none of that stuff. It's crash free. They have a coffee fruit extract that helps you focus and build energy and prevents you from crashing, where like a regular energy drink, you get that little high and then you're just drowsy afterwards. So check them out at dubby.gg or download their app on your mobile app store. Search Dubby, D-U-B-B-Y. They'll be there. Use the code DRAFTEDUP for a cool 10% discount. That code works anytime, anywhere. No matter how many times you use the website and purchase stuff, you can use that code for a nice 10% off your purchase. So be better with W Energy. Eat that dub.
Hell yeah. Love how you tried to say Japan. Had me dying over here. Absolutely dying.
Yeah, I had to mix up the ad read by saying things I don't usually say, and my brain stopped working.
It happens to the best of us.
All right, so I got Aaron Jones
up here, though.
Devon Achane at running back, Joe Burrow, Trey McBride at my onesie positions, Jefferson, Cortland Sutton, and our guy George Pickens at wide receiver.
Hear me out, TJ. If you would take Caleb Johnson, our teams would be almost identically. We have two starting running backs, a high upside rookie running back. We both have our quarterback. We both have our tight end. Our teams have pretty much played out almost identically.
Yeah. The receiving board is not. I love
guys
Josh
you can
Downs.
wait on.
Yeah,
for sure.
But I also kind of feel that way about the running back board. So
I would have Caleb Johnson in a tier of his own at this point.
Caleb Johnson gives me some upside that I don't think any of the other guys really give me. Like, I like Tyrone Tracy this year. I'm a little bit higher on him than consensus, but Cam Scattaboo, there's a chance he's more involved, whereas like I think Caleb Johnson, no matter what Jaylen Warren's doing there, I think Johnson's involvement is a steady, and I think he's the touchdown guy come the end of the year for Rodgers and protecting Rodgers and making
I think come
Rodgers
the end of the year,
throw the least amount of time is what you want to do, and I think Caleb Johnson gives you that. So I am going to go with the rookie running back Caleb Johnson to pair with Achane and Aaron Jones.
Yeah, I think Caleb Johnson has a legitimate chance to be a league winner in the backstretch of the year. I think he's going to be so good this year.
Mm-hmm. After I went Caleb Johnson, Tyrone Tracy, Bo Nix, Roma Dunze to round out the 8th, Jared Goff, Calvin Ridley, Deebo Samuel to start the 9th. Putting me back up, and this will fill out my flex spot here, my other flex spot with Caleb Johnson. Your boy Travis Etienne's there. Wide receiver wise, Khalil Shakir gives me, just catches, but not a ton
He's just
of.
like a flex kind of guy.
Yeah.
I think what he finished last year is going to be close to what he is going to do this year. He's wide receiver 37.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to be around that same spot, if not just like a little bit higher if he plays a little bit more.
Yeah,
like you said, he's just going to eat up catches.
Jacoby Myers gives me same sort of thing, just a good, he's going to outplay his draft position, but he doesn't give me a ton of upside. So I'm going to go with Josh Downs, Colts wide receiver. I'm going to play the game that he is going to be the target getter here. I'm not sure if that will be the case. I have him, Warren, and Pittman all pretty much statted out that they're getting an equal amount of the target share, but I think Josh Downs has the best upside of the receiving room. And if it is Daniel Jones, I think Josh Downs favors his play style, sort of like Wandale did. And if it's Anthony Richardson, I think Josh Downs is the safest bet at the receiver position because he's going to catch the balls at the line of scrimmage. So you don't have to worry about Anthony Richardson throwing the no man's land. So I think Josh Downs is the safest bet in the Indianapolis pass catcher. So I am going to lock him in here in my final starting spot.
Oh, Jacoby Myers went. How upsetting. Oh, good God.
Yeah, after Josh Downs, Jacoby Myers, Mark Andrews, Jalen Warren, Evan Ingram, putting you back on the clock.
I really like Jacoby Myers this year. He finished as wide receiver 19 in a full-point PPR league last year, and that was with absolutely no quarterback. Now he's got Geno and Pete Carroll. First year with 1,000 yards last season. I think he's going to do that again. I think his touchdowns are going to go up. They were only 4 last season. They were at 8 the year before.
Yeah.
I think Jacoby Myers is going to be a rock steady wide receiver too this season.
And he's going as like wide receiver 36. Like it's almost guaranteed that he outplays his current ADP.
He's only gone up every single year. 2021 wide receiver 30, 2022 wide receiver 28, 2023 wide receiver 24. 24 wide receiver 19. He's literally gone up every single year, and now he has Geno Smith, his best quarterback out of those 4 years. So I think Jacoby Myers is a steal in fantasy this season. So I was really hoping for him. Shaquille Shakir is here. He's a safe 4 option. I'm not really eyeing it or digging it too much, to be honest. So I'm going to look at the running back board, and it's Brian Robinson and Travis Etienne, who I think both of those guys, they're going to be starters on my team. They're going to be flex options, and I'm comfortable with both of those guys, to be honest. I had Etienne at wire.
A tier break after those guys.
I agree.
How comfortable are you starting the rest of those? Like you're higher on Etienne than I am. Like it depends on how you view the Jaguars running back. Like if you think Tank Bigsby's starting, I would put him in the same tier than as Brian Robinson. Like the Jaguars starting running back is of value, no matter if it's Etienne or a Tank Bigsby. Whereas like Najee Harris has Amari Hampton, Cam Scatterbo has Tyrone Tracy. Who knows what Dallas? Ramondre has Travion Henderson. Like to me, it's the Jaguars back and Brian Robinson really are a tier above these guys.
Yeah, for sure. No, I totally agree. I have Etienne a spot above Brian Robinson, so either way, I'm getting the guy of same value here. Let's see what which way do I want? Robinson's the safer floor, Etienne's the higher ceiling. I have a high ceiling guy with Henderson and McCaffrey, and Mixon can kind of get banged up. So can Brian Robinson, though, so I just have to hope these guys don't all miss time at the same time. I'm going to go with Brian Robinson. He's the safer pick.
Okay.
He's the safer pick, and he plays in a much better offense.
Yeah. I was for sure.
The Jaguars aren't going to be winning a lot of games this year, in my eyes, compared to Washington.
You can pick Etienne. He's still on the board. Kyler Murray, Khalil Shakir, Team 10 back to picking receivers. Putting you back up, you got 4 running backs, Brian Robinson, Travion Henderson, Joe Mixon, Christian McCaffrey, 3 wides, Devonta Smith, T. Higgins, Amon-Ra on your onesies, Jalen Hurts, Travis Kelce. A nice little squad so far here from the 9 spot. You going to look towards Etienne, or are you going to go back to the receiving board?
No, I got to hit the receiving board. We start 3, and I only have 3, so we got to pump in a receiver here. So we got Cooper Kupp, Steph Diggs, Juwan Jennings, Ayuk, Jaden Reed, Matthew Golden, Pearsall, Darnell Mooney, guys like that. Out of those guys, I'm looking at Jaden Reed.
Mm-hmm.
He's probably the guy that I think has the highest ceiling out of these guys. I think Kupp's limited. Diggs is gonna maybe miss the first couple games. Juwan Jennings is holding out. Ayuk's coming off a major injury. Golden has question marks. Pearsall's already hurt. So it's Reed and Mooney. I think those guys are both really safe.
Mm-hmm.
Mooney's probably honest. Mooney's safer than Reed.
Jaden Reed gives you Reed upside
gives me,
Mooney
I agree.
Isn't going to give you. Yeah.
No, Mooney's going to be more consistent throughout the season. But Reed is my number one bench wide receiver. I'm cool plugging him in and hoping he has that 4 or 5 catches, maybe 2 touchdown game like he did week 1. So, yeah, I'm in for Reed. And he finished wide receiver 29 last year, so I think there's going to be room for improvement.
Mm-hmm.
He was wide receiver 25 his rookie season, so
yeah,
I think there is upside. I'm not high on Golden, so I'm comfortable with Reed here.
Yeah, when Jaden Reed's on the field, he's the Packers' best receiver. So he's got the most upside among their crew, whether it be Golden, Dobbs. Like, Golden and Dobbs might end up playing more snaps and have a higher percentage of snaps. But Jaden Reed is going to get manufactured touches. They're going to use him in running back role. Like, he's their gadget piece, and he's also their biggest playmaker.
Yeah, he's not their best pure wide receiver. That's honestly probably Romeo Dobbs in my eyes. But Reed is the best athlete wide receiver on the team. He's the most athletic, so that's what you're leaning in fantasy. Reed's not, or Romeo Dobbs not going to win you leagues. Jaden Reed has been wide receiver 1 on weeks.
Yeah. Stephon Diggs, Jonnu Smith, Cooper Kupp, Matthew Golden were the picks to follow.
You think Diggs starts this season on PUP, or do you think he plays week 1?
I don't,
because the reports of both are coming out. Like, it's so lopsided with Steph Diggs right now.
PUP's 6 games, or is that the IR designated to return? I don't know what.
They're like, I don't know which one's which now. One of them you're guaranteed to miss the first 6 weeks.
Yeah, I don't think he does, but it wouldn't surprise me.
I agree, because I think he can
misses week 1 and week 2. But I don't think they put him on PUP or the IR designated to return. And I think he could be out there. His injury happened week 8, so it was halfway through the year. So even if he's on as a snap count, I do think Diggs is going to be ready to start the season. If not, it's going to only be a game or 2 that he misses.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. And I think when he comes back, he's going to instantly be their wide receiver 1. I don't think there's going to be like obviously it's a crowded room, but I think Steph Diggs is far and away the most talented guy in that room. I don't think it's close.
All right. I'm up here. I got Joe Burrow, Devon Achane, Aaron Jones, Justin Jefferson, Cortland Sutton, George Pickens, Trey McBride, Caleb Johnson, Josh Downs. So I'm looking for a nice upside guy on my bench. Travis Etienne's here.
So not Travis Etienne. You want high upside, but I think Etienne's a really good bench player for your
Etienne
squad.
Pairs well with Caleb Johnson. Like, I think they're the perfect counters. Even though I do think I still don't know how I feel about the Jaguars running back situation. I do have Etienne higher, but I do think Tank Bigsby ends up with more yardage rushing. I just think Etienne ends up eating more of the passing game because that's just not a thing Tank Bigsby does. But
yeah, and like we said,
Tank
the
Bigsby,
catches are more valuable than carries. Yeah. But I honestly think they're going to be neck and neck with carries and yards out of rushing wise.
Yeah, so
I don't think there's going to be one lopsided than the other.
So Liam Cohen, we have the 1 year sample size with the Bucs, and he changed the running back game, and the big part was Bucky Irving. But Bucky Irving was first in the league in yards after contact, and then second in the league was Tank Bigsby. Tank Bigsby plays more like Bucky Irving than Travis Etienne does. So, if that is the shtick that Cohen's looking for at Jacksonville, I do think Bigsby ends up being the guy. But I think Etienne gives me a better ceiling. He was a top 3 running back 2 years ago in fantasy. He was a first-round pick in the real draft. He was a first-round pick in fantasy last year. And I think we just got this fatigue with him. So I'm going to take the shot on ETN here.
Yeah, like Bigsby outrushed him by almost 300 yards last year, but he still was only running back 36. So I don't think there was any bit of upside with Tank Bigsby. He literally was worse than ETN. ETN finishes running back 35. Bigsby only had 12 catches on the year,
it would be
targets.
You would have to have Bigsby get 8+ touchdowns. And then you're
looking
at...
I don't think Tank Bigsby I don't think he's that talented. I didn't really care for him coming out. It's not a Tank Bigsby thing.
Yeah. I
just think ETN's, but I honestly think he's a better football player than Tank Bigsby. I'm not gonna lie.
Juwan Jennings, Najee Harris, Tyler Warren to round out the 10th. Scattaboo, David Njoku, Javonte Williams, the first 3 picks of the 11th round. Putting me back up, Juwan Jennings would have been someone I was looking at. Kind of get potentially the number 1 receiver in San Francisco.
Don't worry, he's still there.
Oh, is he?
Ricky Pearsall.
Oh, well.
No. I gotcha. Ricky Pearsall's still there, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, I don't want Ricky Pearsall. It's
because he's white. I get
it. It's because of the hamstring injury. And
sure. You're acting like he got shot last year or something.
You mean that too? Michael Pittman's off the board for me. I have Josh Downs. I don't want both Colts receivers. Darnell Mooney's fine, but I'm going to try for an upside guy here, and I loved...
Oh, yeah, there's 2 of them sitting back-to-back on the board.
I loved Jaden Higgins in the draft. I was higher on him
Higgins
than consensus.
And Keon Coleman are solid picks here.
Yeah, so Jaden Higgins is one of my favorite players from last year's draft class, so I am going to go with him and hope that maybe Joe Mixon does start aging and CJ Stroud's got to pass more, and it opens things up for Higgins, who he's not the number 1 in this offense. They have Nico Collins, so coverage is never going to shy his way, so it should open up the field. Great in contested catch situations. So I'm going to play the upside train with Jaden Higgins.
Hell yeah. No, I love that pick. I think he's got huge upside, especially just the offense he's into. Like, he arguably does have he's got a really good young quarterback. I guess Stroud took a step back last year, but the Texans just kind of in general took a step back. They just didn't look like themselves. He gets thrown into now a great offense with Joe Mixon, CJ Stroud, Nico Collins. I love Jaden Higgins this year in fantasy, so I think that's a solid
great
pick.
Value in the 11th.
For sure.
After Higgins, 3 of the 4 next picks were 49ers players. Brock Purdy, Darnell Mooney, Ricky Pearsall, Brandon Ayuk off the board, putting you on the clock.
I mentioned Keon Coleman when you brought up high upside guys, and I think Keon Coleman does fall into that boat of he could take that step forward. I loved Keon Coleman coming out of Florida State.
Mm-hmm.
He was hurt last year on the back end of the season, so that plays into a large amount of what happened and him not being heavily involved. I'm gonna just say I'm gonna play the risk and hope he falls to the next round because I really want Colston Loveland right here. There's just something about Loveland right here at this pick. He's a rookie. He could easily step into this Bears offense and be their Sam Laporta. And Sam Laporta, his rookie year, he finished tight end 1. I'm not going to say that's going to happen for Colston Loveland, but let's say Travis Kelce, who I do have, takes a little bit of a step backwards.
He's 35 years old.
Exactly, yeah. He's just not as consistent, and that could easily happen. I don't think it's going to happen, no. Colston Loveland in a Ben Johnson ran offense has crazy potential. He was drafted with the 9th pick. So
first tight end off the board too. Yeah.
Yep, Colston Loveland was my lock there. And the board did fall for me. So I'm going to go with Keon Coleman, who I just talked about. Shakir went rounds ago, like 4 rounds at this point, 4 or 5, and obviously he's going to be a much safer option. He's going to eat up a bunch of the catches.
Khalil Shakir went 2 rounds ago.
Yeah, sure. It felt like a month ago he went. But Keon Coleman could be the wide receiver 1 on this team. He's the alpha, like prototype, 6'4", 215, dog mentality. He's high energy. I love this kid. I honestly think he has it. So I'm going to lock myself with Keon Coleman, and as late a round as I could possibly get him.
He's pretty much free, and if it doesn't work out,
going to say,
you drop him. Yeah.
he's free in the 12th round, and he could be a wide receiver 1
mm-hmm.
in arguably the best offense in football.
Yep.
So I'm willing to take that flyer on him.
Yeah. After you
he
went
was a
Colston,
first-round pick last year.
Yeah. Second-round pick. First pick of the second round.
He wasn't a first-round pick?
I don't think so.
Then Dalton Kincaid was a first-round pick.
Dalton Kincaid was a first-round pick. After Colston Loveland, Jordan Mason, and Jake Ferguson went, and then you went Keon Coleman, and then it was Ramondre Stevenson. I get it. That is a disgusting pick. You're not going to be happy with it, but in the 12th round,
I think that pick is so much better than people are making it out to. Like, people
you're
are like,
potentially
so
getting
gross.
the number one running back in New England, and if he does, he could get touchdowns, and that's really what you could live off of for him. Then Emeka Ibuka, Caleb Williams, Dalton Kincaid off the board prior to my selection.
Not to badmouth Henderson because he's on my squad in this mock, but I took him in the 7th, and Ramondre just went in the 12th. So it could obviously swing to where Henderson's catches don't make that much of a difference, and these guys just finish really close to each other, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. All right, I'm back up here. I like how my squad's looking. I'm not in the market for a backup quarterback because I have Joe Burrow. I'm really not in the market for another tight end either because I got Trey McBride. So continue on stacking these positions. I would love to pick Marvin Mims, who's always just my go-to pick in this late scenarios. But I have Cortland Sutton, so I don't want both Denver receivers.
Reasonable.
I could take both Jaguars running backs, though. My boy Tank Bigsby's still here. But
you're guaranteed the running back then at that point.
Yeah, but I am going to take a rookie receiver who I was also just enamored with during the process, and that's New England's Kyle Williams. I know that gives me both my bench receivers are rookies, but I think Kyle Williams has the talent to be New England's number one wide receiver. I know you locked in Steph Diggs. I have them back-to-back in my rankings. I have Diggs 55, Williams 56. I think at the end of the year, Kyle Williams is going to be Drake May's guy. He's an incredible separator. He plays a lot like Steph Diggs as well. But I think them two are the clear cut above the rest in that room. Like, no disrespect to Pop Douglas, but I don't think Kyle Williams and Steph Diggs, he's not on their level. Whereas, like, I think Kyle Williams has the upside to be a high-end wide receiver, too, at the next level. So I'm going to hope that Drake May pans out like I think he will, and take who I think's going to be his number one receiver at the end of the year here in the 12th round.
Yeah, I think I personally would have went Trey Harris, but if I was going rookie-wise, Kyle Williams would have been my second pick behind Trey Harris.
Trey Harris, not my cup of tea.
I think he's going to eat up in that offense, dude.
We'll see. Justin Herbert, Zach Charbonnet, Jordan Love to round out the 12th. Final round 13, Michael Pittman, Tucker Kraft, Dallas Goedert, putting me on the clock for my last spot.
I'm not a huge Zach Charbonnet fan. I don't think he's honestly that good, but I think at this point that's real value because Ken Walker is his starting running back, or the guy above him. I don't think he's honestly that good. He gets hurt a lot. Charbonnet could easily just take that role if Walker goes down and just doesn't give it back up.
Mm-hmm. All right.
So that's a nice dart throw at this point in the draft.
I do love Adam Thielen. I have him as wide receiver 40, so I have him ranked above Kyle Williams, who I just picked.
Can I convince you in Kyle Pitts? He's still there.
No, I don't want a second tight end.
Get 1,000 yards as a rookie, TJ.
I don't care. He's only 24.
Okay. Yeah, man. Yeah. Think about that. He's younger than RJ Harvey, who's a rookie.
Okay, I am looking running back here. Rashad White's here. I do like his upside. Plus, if Bucky Irving gets hurt, he's the only running back there.
You're going to take the guy I want. That's out of pocket.
J.K. Dobbins is still here, who is projected currently as the Broncos' starting running back. And then Tank Bigsby and Bashal Tutin if I really want to link myself to the Jacksonville Jaguars. But I'm not taking J.K. Dobbins. I'm taking the guy who I have higher than him, and that is Austin Eckler. Eckler was incredibly productive last year in Washington before his concussion. And Brian Robinson, like you said when you picked him, he does have injury concerns. So that opens up the door for Austin Eckler to play starter minutes. He's also not going to be phased out of this offense. Brian Robinson's not that talented where it's going to keep Austin Eckler off the field. So I'm going to take the shot.
It's going to be a heavy committee
on Austin Eckler here with my final pick.
No, I love that pick. I couldn't take Austin Eckler because I have Robinson. I don't want to have both those guys because I don't think having both is as a value as having Jacksonville's both, because I think at the end of the day, I think Jacksonville's back's not going to be as split as Washington's is. I think one of the guys in Jacksonville is going to way outperform the other one this season.
Man, you can't even take Kyle Pitts. He went after I went Austin Eckler, Tyjae Spears, Rachaad White, Dak Prescott, and Kyle Pitts off the board. Dak Prescott for team 7 there. That's a good pairing with Baker Mayfield, who, like, we love Baker, but there is a chance for regression from him. He's not going to get 41 touchdowns this year. So Dak is a good pairing there with Baker Mayfield for team 7.
Dak at that point is killer, dude. I have him easy QB1, and they have him as a backup quarterback, so I think that's a lock. Yeah, I brought up J.K. Dobbins when you were picking. You brought him up and whatnot. He's going to start the season as Denver's number 1 back, and I have Henderson. I have Travion Henderson, who I don't think is going to be the starter. So I need a guy that's going to be foot on the ground week 1, and that's going to be J.K. Dobbins. Tor Henderson's going to be more eased in over time, and then eventually towards later start more than J.K. Dobbins does probably. But the first couple weeks, J.K. Dobbins looked amazing last season, and I think it's going to be very similar in a Sean Payton ran offense with Bo Nix, with Cortland Sutton, with Evan Ingram added to that offense. So I'm cool to ride J.K. Dobbins here for the first couple weeks.
All right, J.K. Dobbins, your last pick, and then C.J. Stroud fills out Team 10, who I can't believe didn't take another running back. They only have 3 on their roster, and one of them's Quinshon Judkins. Team 10, 2 tight ends, 2 quarterbacks. What a vibe.
They're living risky, dude.
Yeah. All right. 10 team, 3 wide receiver, full PPR. Let's run down the squad. I picked from the 4th spot. At my onesie positions, I have Joe Burrow at quarterback and Trey McBride at tight end. They're the only ones I picked. I didn't pick backups. 10-team leagues. Like I said, I want to try to get that advantage, get one of those elite guys, and then I'm not wasting another roster spot on one of them. My running backs, Devon Achane, Aaron Jones, Caleb Johnson, Travis Etienne, and Austin Eckler. And then wide receivers, Justin Jefferson, Cortland Sutton, George Pickens, Josh Downs, Jaden Higgins, and Kyle Williams. I do wish I had a veteran wide receiver on my bench. I think that's really the only issue I have with my team, but I do love Jaden Higgins and Kyle Williams upside, and I have 4 receivers who I'm confident in my starting lineup that when bye weeks come around, I'm comfortable starting Etienne and Eckler in my flex spots.
Yeah, I think you're good not having a quote-for-quote experienced receiver on your bench because you got 4 in your lineup already. You got Downs, who's going to be a flex guy this season in my eyes, and then you have George, Sutton, and Jefferson, who I think are all locks, and I think they're all going to be pretty high upside as well.
Yeah, all 4 of those guys, well, three of them are in my top 30, and Josh Downs is like 36. So I got 4 of my top 40 receivers in my start lineup.
Yeah, I'm pretty close to around that as well. I think Downs is right on the outside of my top 30. So my onesies are, well, I drafted from the 1-9. My onesies are Jalen Hurts at quarterback, and I don't have another one. Tight end, I have Travis Kelce and Colston Loveland.
I like that.
I do like that a lot. High upside rookie behind Kelce if he doesn't pan out. Running back wise, I got Christian McCaffrey, who's my RB1, Joe Mixon, Travion Henderson, Brian Robinson, and J.K. Dobbins. So 5 running backs. Receivers, Amon-Ra St. Brown, T. Higgins, Devontae Smith, Jaden Reed, and Keon Coleman. So 5 receivers as well. So balanced on both ends with the 2 tight ends, 1 quarterback. I like how both squads turned out. Yeah. I fuck with them.
Yeah. I love the fact you got Jaden Reed on your bench. I would assume.
Oh yeah, I dig
real
that a
life
lot.
Wise,
Yeah,
Jaden Reed would be in one of your flex spots over Henderson or Brian Robinson.
Over Henderson, yeah, for sure.
You got a ton of good depth there, a good balance in your receiving room in terms of just upside and just floor guys. Like T. Higgins has that upside to be a top 7 guy if he's healthy, and then you have Amon-Ra, whose floor is literally 5.
5? Yeah, for sure. And so those two counteract each other tremendously.
Yeah, you got the stack, Hurts and Devonta Smith. So, yeah,
love the stack.
Your running backs do worry me. I know I'm not the biggest Christian McCaffrey guy, but the injuries concern me. Joe Mixon also a little bit concerning. And then you pair that with 2 risky guys in Henderson and Robinson. Henderson, rookie, we don't know what his outcome is, but I do love his upside. I would have him in my top 20. So I do love that. And then Brian Robinson, he's fine, but, if he gets hurt, and I'm also a little bit lower on Washington than consensus in general, I think they might be passing more, so that kind of affects Brian Robinson a little bit, but he's the touchdown guy there. And if Washington is cruising like they were last year, Brian Robinson has double-digit touchdown upside from the running back position.
Yeah, you know what you're going to get with. He's literally had 700 yards every single season. He's had 799, 733, 797. But last season he had his most touchdowns in his career. He had 8.
He's a hot starter too. So in this hypothetical, first 4 weeks you could try moving him.
Yeah, realistically, him and J.K. Dobbins, one of those guys will be dealt in the first 4 weeks with this squad.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah, I think my favorite pick from you is pairing Colson Loveland with Travis Kelce. I really like that.
I agree. I seen really cool. Loveland there, and I'm like, I gotta lock Loveland in here just with the high upside rookie. With the Bears' offenses, you never know what you're gonna get, and Loveland could pan out to be an amazing pick at that point.
Yeah, and I ended up liking my team. I went quarterback and tight end early, which, like I said, it's something I don't do, and mocks are for you to practice kind of strategies you don't utilize, and ultimately, I liked how my team turned out. Again, if we did it again, I might pass on Trey McBride for Chase Brown, who I really like, and then try to snag a tight end a little bit later, like Sam Laporta or George Kittle there over Sutton. But looking back, I do like how my team turned out going quarterback tight end early.
For sure. Just like going down your roster, like I love Burrow this year. I like A-Chan a lot this year. Aaron Jones is solid. Justin Jefferson solid. Sutton's going to be amazing. George, we're so both high on. Trey McBride is Trey McBride. I love Caleb Johnson. I think he's got league-winning potential in the back end of the year. Same with Josh Downs. I think he's got an amazing PPR ceiling. I'm way higher on ETN than consensus, and I love Jaden Higgins in drafts at this point.
Yeah. All right. It's a little fun exercise. 10-team league, not something we normally dive into, but it's good to mix it up, kind of see how the board falls, because PPRs are a little different in a 10-team league, because less teams mean players aren't getting picked as soon as they normally do. There we go. I think the perfect setup though for a 10-team league. Well,
you also have people playing 10-team leagues, so
yeah. But I think if you're in a 10-team league,
if you're
3 receivers is the way to go.
Yes. If you're running 10 teams, you got to either do 3 receivers or another flex spot. You got to make the roster bigger just to pan it out a little bit better, because everyone's roster is going to be good for the most part.
Yeah. All right. There we go. Drafted Up podcast in the books. Nice little exercise. It was fun. And later this week, we'll start our division breakdown and previews. So that'll be fun. A little
fun.
A little deeper dive into these players as a whole, and then real life stuff mixed in there. All right.
And then one more time, we're doing the AFC East, correct?
Yes, we'll be talking about the Bills, Patriots, Dolphins, and the Jets. So that'll be, yeah.
I think we all know who's winning the division, but after that, I think it could be any of the 3, to be honest. So, hey, man, if you want to get wild, keep people guessing.
All right. Anything else?
No, I think we're good, doggy.
All right. Drafted Up podcasts. Like, rate, subscribe, review wherever you listen or watch the show. Apple, YouTube, Spotify, wherever. We appreciate your support, and support our friends over at Dubby and Finley Hats. We appreciate you guys. We'll catch you later this week with the AFC East.
Bye. Deuces.